وَقُل رَّبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا.
Now, this is very important when it comes to building our mindset of zakat and what it is. Okay? And I give this example a lot because it helps me to relate anyway. When a person does something that they shouldn't be doing in their car, for example. So a person takes a left turn where they shouldn't be taking a left turn, or they do a U-turn where they shouldn't be, or they park somewhere where they shouldn't park. Now in the post, you're going to get a letter and it's going to give you a fine, right? One of the options on the fine is going to be representation or challenge the penalty notice. Now, most likely, a lot of people, what they do is because it's just, it doesn't cost much to challenge the notice, right? And if you get lucky, you get lucky. You don't have to pay it. Unfortunately, if you don't get lucky, then you have to pay the fine. It's not going to make much of a difference. So it's always worth challenging it, right? Try and give some sort of reason and excuse to wiggle your way out. Now, that works with fines and penalties. But our mindset when it comes to zakat shouldn't be we want to work our way out of it. Our mindset should be that we want to pay as much as we can of it, because it's a means of gaining closer to Allah, and it's a means of gaining barakah and blessing and purifying our wealth. Now, a person who tries to weave themselves out of having to pay zakat, the problem with that is you're ultimately weaving yourself out of an ibadah, and you're avoiding getting closer to Allah, and you're avoiding this investment in the akhirah, which obviously a person wouldn't want to be doing. So zakat is an act of worship and not a punishment, and it's not a fine. So a person should look forward to paying zakat, as it's going to be a means of purification, blessing, and great reward for that person. Now, two principles that we're going to work with when we're going through this, the fiqh of zakat. Sometimes there are going to be differences of opinion, even within the Hanafi school of law. So what we're going to try and do, I'm going to explain the various different opinions so that everybody is aware of the opinions. And then I'm going to give preference from a personal perspective, give preference cautious. The reason why we want to is more cautious is because we want to make sure that we fulfill our religious duty and responsibility in this world before we pass on into the next life. Nobody wants to wake up on the day of judgment with debt that they haven't paid to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether it's salah, whether it's zakah, whether it's fasting, all the responsibilities and duties that we have, and all of this debt that we have in this world, we want to make sure it's all fulfilled before we come into the next life. So we're going to adopt a more cautious approach so that we can ensure that all the responsibilities and duties are fulfilled, and we have no accountability left. Another principle that is used within the text of the jurist is anfa' lil fuqara. So if there are different ways of looking at a certain method of giving zakat, one benefits the poor people more and another benefits them less. We're going to look at that which benefits the poor people more, because zakat is essentially about us thinking about the poor people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with so much wealth. When we came into this world, what did we have? We had absolutely nothing. To be honest, we didn't even have the clothing that we wear at the moment. We came in totally naked, right? We didn't even have clothing. We didn't have teeth in our mouth, right? We didn't even have a beard. We had nothing. Then as we grew older and as we started collecting and gaining wealth, all of this wealth is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of that, all of that which Allah has given us, He gave us 100%. He's only asking us to give back 2.5%, no more. Just 2.5% as a religious obligation, which is nothing in comparison to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. So it's time for us to now start thinking, not about ourselves, start thinking about the poor people and start thinking about the fuqara and those poor people and trying to benefit them the most, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala.